So I'm like so late to making this review because Godzilla Minus One has been out for over a month now. Everybody and their mom has done already watched this movie and reviewed it. And everybody's already done said that they love it. It's great. There's hardly any negative reviews about this movie at all. And it's being considered as this year's like top film by many people. So why in the world should you stick around to listen to me just ramble and talk when I can just go ahead and tell you at the beginning of this video that the movie's good. It's really good. I loved it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And even someone like my wife, who's not that big a Godzilla fan and is really not that big a fan of Japanese movies where you got to sit there and read the subtitles, doesn't really have the attention span to really sit through a good long 2-hour movie, doesn't really see things like I do in a cinematic perspective and music score and all that stuff. Someone who just really likes to watch something that's entertaining for about a good 40 minutes. Even when someone like her can tell you that the movie's not as bad as they thought it was going to be, and they really just went with me because they knew I really wanted to see it, but they actually kind of come out kind of enjoying it themselves. Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the video. It's a really good movie. It was done really well. It was done for only $15 million, which isn't nothing compared to what most Hollywood blockbusters have spent on them. I think the average, they said, is anywhere between $150 to $250 million. And this movie looks great. It looks great. The story's great. Godzilla is terrifying. The scenes with Godzilla are thrilling. They're wonderful. It is some of the best Godzilla I've ever watched in my entire life. And that is coming from somebody who grew up loving Godzilla. When I say I love Godzilla, I meant like I like the 1998 Godzilla because that's just what was coming out when I was like 5 years old. I thought that was amazing. It's still nostalgic. Looking back now, I kind of see the flaws with it. But when I was a little kid, Jurassic Park, Godzilla, those were my things. I mean, you can look, I'm obviously a fan of the big guy. And so when it comes to Godzilla Minus One, well, let's just say that what they got right with Godzilla Minus One is something that I feel like most other Japanese movies with Godzilla didn't really get right, or at least to me they didn't. And sometimes with the American Godzilla, or at least all Godzilla movies altogether, kind of seem like they're kind of plagued with this, is usually you have hardly any screen time with the big guy. You're just sitting around waiting for him to show up. You enjoy those scenes. And you could care less about the human story. You could care less about the human characters because most of the time it's just boring. It's boring. It doesn't really make no sense. Stuff doesn't line up. And when I say it doesn't make sense, I understand that it's a movie about a giant radioactive lizard destroying cities. So as far as trying to be as realistic as possible, sometimes stuff works, sometimes things just don't for me personally. And Godzilla Minus One, I feel like, is just overall a good movie. If you can sit through a movie not knowing how to speak Japanese and be able to read the subtitles and that doesn't bother you that bad, you're going to like this movie. You're going to enjoy this movie. The scenes with Godzilla, I can't stress it enough. This Godzilla right here, this dude just straight up doesn't care. And I feel like what we got mostly here recently with the American Godzilla, the legendary films Godzilla is a force of nature. He's something to be scared of. He can destroy buildings and he can fight with humans and whatnot. But most of the time, he's kind of our ally. And he's helping us fight some other gigantic monster that's coming in trying to wreak havoc. And Godzilla is just that. He's neither good or bad. He's just a force of nature. Like, don't mess with him and you'll be okay. Don't get in his way, you'll be okay. If you don't mess with him or you help him out, it's going to benefit humans in the long run. Not with Godzilla Minus One, not that Godzilla, because this Godzilla, he just straight up doesn't care about human beings. He just straight up doesn't care about nothing. He is out there just wreaking havoc. Never, ever have I seen Godzilla straight up walk up to a building and just start punching it. I don't mean he slapped it with his tail. He does that in the movie. He steps on the ground. The road comes up. People go flying into the air. He is literally stepping on people. They show that in the film. He's walking up to buildings, and he is just straight up just punching it like it's like the building owes him money. And you're sitting here watching all this. Then all of a sudden, there comes the big scene. The biggest scene in this movie is whenever you see Godzilla use his heat ray, his atomic ray, whatever you want to call it, the entire spikes on his back. This is spoilers, but I feel like everybody's done, like I said, have seen this movie by now, so I guess it's okay. By the time you watch this video, it's probably not going to be in theaters anyway. You're probably going to sit around and wait for it to come streaming service or buy the movie. So, you know, just Just saying, like you haven't seen it yet, I'm sorry, but spoilers. Spike starts shooting out his back, and he unleashes this beam. It's almost like the Death Star beam. It just is one concentrated singular beam, but when it hits, there's nothing left. Every single building, piece of concrete, asphalt, whatever you can think of, is disintegrated. I have never seen a shockwave pulled off like that in any type of movie. I still haven't seen Oppenheimer yet. I'm still trying to see that movie. So whenever I get a chance, I'll try to watch that. Maybe something in there's better, because I heard a lot of people comparing this movie to that, the explosions in it. Just haven't seen Oppenheimer yet, so I don't have nothing from that side to pull from. But the beam that Godzilla shoots out, it doesn't just hit a target and blow it up. Everything around that beam, the shockwave just completely levels and destroys. If you're anywhere within, it looks like 50 miles of this thing, whatever it hits, you're gone. You're gone. The building's gone. The city's gone. It's absolutely incredible to watch. And one little funny reference here. Now, my wife, like I said, my wife is not a big Godzilla fan. She didn't mind Godzilla versus Kong. She really rooted for Kong more than anything than Godzilla. She's just not that big a Godzilla fan, and that's okay. I feel like she didn't really grow up with it like I did. On the same hand, I liked Godzilla, but I never cared for the real early Japanese versions of Godzilla. And even though I was mentioning the subtitles, I know that might be annoying for some people. Reading English subtitles is far better than that weird fake voiceover where the English words don't match up with how their lips are moving like they used to do in old Godzilla. I'll read subtitles all day long before I read that. But my wife went and saw this movie with me. And even though Godzilla's not her thing, she still pretty much enjoyed the film. It's not going to be her most favorite movie ever, which I kind of figured that it wouldn't when we walked in here. This is one of my top 5 movies, if you want me to be completely honest with you. I might have to sit back and do some thinking on that. One of my top 5s or top 6, something somewhere up in there. It's pretty high up on my list just because of how it was. I cared a lot about the humans in this movie. I cared a lot about the story of it. I cared a lot about what was going on. It's something that I actually got sucked into. And it's something that I thoroughly enjoyed, along with the wonderful music score, the effects in it, how Godzilla looked. I liked every bit of it. My wife, this is the extent of how she enjoyed that movie. Godzilla has a theme song that's been around since 1954. Everybody knows the theme song. Dun 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 na 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 na. You know the song. I'm sitting here listening to this song play because it plays in the movie. And I am drawn into the screen and what is going on. I am genuinely having a good time. My wife is finding the best way to have a good time. After she's been sitting there for over an hour and a half and this song starts playing, she's on her second bucket of popcorn. And while you hear da-na-na, da-na-na, I listen over and she starts singing booty work, booty work, booty, booty, booty work, booty work. And I can't help it. I'm trying my best not to laugh at this moment because it's kind of a serious moment in the movie. But just how my wife is, I look over at her and I'm sitting in the back of my mind. I'm like, I never would have put those two songs together. But that's part of the reason why I love my wife. That's part of the reason why I like going and doing stuff with her, is that she notices things like that. So now this has been something that's been stuck in my head, is that song and booty work put together. That was the extent of the excitement that she got from this movie. She liked it. It was okay, but I'm just putting this out there for anybody out there who might not be that big a Godzilla fan. You're going to like it. It's not going to be as bad as you think it is. It's not going to be your top movie of all time. And if you're a Godzilla fan, you're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love this movie. Godzilla Minus One, incredible movie. Incredible. I can't say it enough. I do feel like a lot of people that may not can sit through a long 2-hour movie, I would encourage you to at least watch the Godzilla scenes, at least watch the action-packed scenes. I've got family members that I know good and well, they're not going to sit through this movie and get from it what I did, but I will most definitely be making sure that they see the action scenes from this movie because they are incredible. Godzilla's actually terrifying. You're actually worried about the people, and you actually care about the story that's going on. The music in this movie is amazing. The scenes where they pause and there's no sound and they have this little moment of silence for what's about to happen, the suspense, the buildup. It's all incredible. It's great. And I love the story of the underdog, how it's just regular Japanese citizens that have to eventually take whatever they can to try to stop Godzilla because there's nothing left. It's post-World War II. Japan's destroyed. They're trying to rebuild from that, hence the name -1. Japan is at 0. Everything's been destroyed from the war. People have nothing left. Here comes Godzilla. Not only do they not have anything and they're at 0, here comes -1. We're in the negatives now. We're in the red because here comes this giant radioactive breathing lizard that can pretty much destroy the rest of Japan. No problem. Oh, my Lord. Woo! That come out of nowhere. Sorry, all sinus is acting up. But that is my review of Godzilla -1. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I think that you guys are going to enjoy this movie if you go out and you watch it. And I can't say it enough. I'm just going to keep rambling and saying the same thing over and over and what everybody else has already said. It's a wonderful movie. Go out and go see it. This has been your good friend, Justin. I will see you guys in the next episode. I'm out for now.